Hey, everybody. My name is Krystylle Richardson. I am so extremely excited right now to be on with you today. We are doing something very, very special, and hopefully you saw the video that was just on. We'll be playing it a number of times during this next hour. I am the founder of a Life Innovation Global, and we are doing our commencement or inaugural ceremony, whatever you want to call it, related to our delegates. We have national and international delegates that are a part of our program for 2022 and beyond. And I'm very, very excited to be on to share this movement, this initiative with you, and to introduce several of our delegates. Some of them are already waiting backstage eagerly to get on from across the country, whether it's the East Coast, Central, Mountain Time, Pacific Time. There's people from various areas. We have about 20 delegates that are national, and then we have a lot more that are international. There are a number of people that I will be highlighting today that are across Africa and other continents that will be joining us for the international part of Life Innovation. And so I will play that introductory video for you once more so that you can just see a little bit about it, and we can give a shout out to our national delegates. And we will be on today with someone very, very extremely special and has a very special place in my heart. And so we will be introducing him in just one moment. But thank you for being on with us today for our commencement ceremonies for Life Innovation Global. So that was our opening video. And as I mentioned, we will be playing that a number of other times for you to get to know a little bit more about Life Innovation Global. We are an incubator for innovation as well as entrepreneurship. And as I mentioned, we have national and international delegates. One of the first books that we will be using as a part of what we will be doing to help people to realign their life and reimagine their life aligned with abundance. One of the first books that we will be using is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. There's also Money by Tony Robbins, and there's a number of other books that we will be using, including the Holy Bible. This is not necessarily a Christian program, but I'm a Christian, I'm an ordained minister, and so part of what we will be doing is in relation to just aligning from a kingdom perspective as well. So as we continue on for today, we wanted to just share with you a little bit about what we're doing. And I'm not sure if you saw that quote that was on the screen, and we can bring that up again. But one of the things that it says is in relation to what is innovation. And to me, the quote was by me, and part of it is related to just putting away the troubles of the world. Put away the troubles of the world so that we can align and be that person that God intended us to be from our day one. We all have a day one. We all have where God has placed a number of gifts and talents in us, but we just need to unleash it. So hopefully if you're not driving, you can kind of just do your hands like this with me. Unleash. We can unleash our greatness. We can unleash our freedom formula. We can unleash those things that have us bound, that hold us back from really truly being what God has intended for us to be. We all have been created uniquely for a specific purpose here on this earth. So I want to ask you a question. Do you know what your specific purpose is? Do you? Well, part of what we're going to talk about today is that purpose. And we're going to have a very, very extremely dear friend of mine come on in just a few moments and share a little bit with you and give some opening comments to our delegates and to congratulate them and just to talk to them about their thoughts and about burning desire and about motivation and about fear and a number of other things that, again, can propel us, but that can also hold us back if we let them. So without further ado, I do want to bring on our special guest. Let's see, go ahead and add him. Good morning, Don. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes. Good morning. How are you?
I am blessed. I'm great. How are you doing?
Life is great.
Awesome. I'm trying to see
I got so many things to do. I am not complaining.
You're not complaining. Well, I'm not complaining either. I know that you are a sought after individual, and for you to just take a few minutes out to share with our delegates on today, I really appreciate it. Some of them are backstage. We will be bringing them on in a little while, but I really appreciate you, Don Green, being on with us. And he is the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and it is a big thing for me to be able to call you friend and have where you participate in our various summits. You know, we have various conversations on the phone, and I love the planner that you have for 2022 that I received from the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and just a number of things that you just do to spread light and spread motivation related to what we can really be in the world. And so I want you to just take a few moments, and I'll be leaving the screen here for you to just talk to us about motivating our delegates. We have national and international delegates that are a part of Life Innovation Global, and they're waiting to hear from you on just anything that you can share this morning to motivate them.
Well, you mentioned the word purpose, and it's amazing that people have no purpose in their life, and without that, we're drifting. You know, the theme of the Bible tells us we must find our purpose, and I don't even care what it is. If you have a passion for saving stray cats and dogs, that's great. Just ever what you do. There's a couple of things that I really put a lot of emphasis on, and one of them is taking responsibility. I've got little signs in my vehicles and my desk and home, and it just says very simple: if it is to be, it's up to me. If things are not going good, just go in the bathroom and look at the mirror and talk to yourself and say, if it is to be, it's up to me. Nobody's going to come along and save you, jerk you off the sofa and say, oh, have I got a deal for you? We have to initiate it. And I think one of the biggest things that holds people back is procrastination. Sure, it's a little pad. I don't know where you can read it or not, but I'll hold it up. Hopefully you can. Let's see if I can get it centered. Anyway, the little pad, and I use it for notes. There are 7 days in a week, and some day isn't one of them. That was my first lesson when I taught this class. Is I was a bank president for 18 years, and I saw the need. I was already serving on the board of the Napoleon Hill Foundation in Chicago. Now, Wise is a town of 3 red lights, and 2 of them we don't need. So for Don Green to end up as CEO of Napoleon Hill Foundation, I was a bank president for 18 years. And, sometimes opportunity don't come to us. Your ship don't come in. But who said you can't swim out where the ship is? I gave a little talk one time at a historical, when I was a bank president society. And I was in this little town of Pound, Virginia. Napoleon Hill was born a few miles. Most of those people did not even know who he was. And of course, we're a so-called poverty-stricken area. And 2 things I remember about that talk in particular. One is they didn't pay me. And the second, they didn't even feed me. But I've helped those people out a lot, the Historical Society, and putting a mural up. If you come into Kentucky, out of Kentucky into Virginia, we're close to the line. There's a big mural on the wall, and it features Napoleon Hill's photo painted on the wall with his famous quotes, whatever the mind can conceive and believe the mind can achieve. And I did those things. But when I did that talk to the Historical Society, I drove home, listened to some tapes, and I took my yellow pad out at my nightstand, and I wrote a letter to the foundation, and they were located suburb of Chicago, Northbrook, Illinois. So I told them what I'd been doing, and they invited me to come to have dinner with them in Chicago. And I was very thrilled to do it. I did not need it. I was a bank president, and gosh, I don't know if you've seen that book the guy wrote about me. I was chairman of the board of a local hospital, and president of the Chamber of Commerce, and was into all kinds of different businesses. But I thought it was an honor, and they offered me a trustee. And I did until we had an opportunity to sell the bank. 18 years I was president, and old guys basically wanted to cash out, which was okay with me. And then I took over the foundation. Now I've been doing it 22 years. But I use it as an example was, if your ship don't come in, what keeps you from going out? If you're sitting there and you can't think of this, go to church, go meet a different group of people, go to Kiwanis, go to Lions Club, go to fraternity. You got to change. Hill wrote articles in his magazine in 1919, and he wrote about our social and our physical environment. And now our physical we get from our parents, our grandparents, our color of our skin, our hair, our eyes. And so not too awful much you can do, the height we end up being and so forth. Not too awful much we can do. But we can sure affect our social environment. We do a lot of prison work. And we give away thousands and thousands of books. I think if I can inspire one of them, we have good lessons. NBA basketball stars and so forth that end up in prison that read our material while in prison. And if they go back into the same surrounding when they get out of prison, you got to, if your things are not going right, maybe you need to change your social environment. Because it was Mark Twain that says there's only, they talk about reading and so forth, and people don't read, said no better off than people can. My social media girl put a statement up on the wall. She's a kind of an artist also, but it says, there are 2 ways to learn. One's from books, and the other is being around smarter people, Don Green. And I told her, I said, Lon, that was nice of you. She said, well, you've said it 1,000 times. I said, I kind of borrowed it from Will Rogers, but that's the truth. But I said, she teaches social media at college. And I said, if you discover a way we can learn other than from books and being around other people, I'd like to know what it is. I would like to try it. But the world has so many possibilities out there. Of course, you can tell by looking at me, I'm not no youngster. I'll be 81 in a few days. But I absolutely love what I do because I'm helping so many youngsters go to college. And even now, as I got a project, I'm going to get the course in the hands of high school students starting off in Southwest Virginia and to go to college. And they'll get credit for it as a credit course at the college here. And we're paying for it. So that's a kind of a new experience for us. It'll be completely online, and the opportunity is tremendous with this COVID virus. And we'll see more and more of learning. I think I started in 2000. There was no internet. I had a dry cleaners and I had an office. I built an office in with it, and I knew I'd be using it some days when I so-called retired from banking. That I wouldn't have to work out of the house. I'd have a place I could meet people, whatever. So when I was offered a position, my business partner gave me a desk worth about $5. I went to Walmart and bought a phone and a fax machine because we had no internet. And it was less than $100. I transferred the accounts from Chicago to a local bank. And then I bought a big old book that listed all the foreign publishers all over the world. And I started writing them letters in longhand. And a girl at the bank worked with me. She would stop of the evening, type them up because she could read my writing. I'd fax them out the next day. And bingo, we were doing business all of a sudden all over the world. Today we have more than 500 foreign publishers. I have 30-some different publishers in Russia alone. So you can see the popularity of the work. And it's needed now more than ever. We kind of have a you can call it a coal miner a mentality or a plantation mentality or whatever you want to call it, that someone's going to take care of you. I wouldn't count on that. We have to learn to think. I grew up in a coal mining area, and it was a dirty, hard, nasty job. My dad or my family did, but I read books, and it came to me when I was still in school that the people that really make money, and that's what I did concentrate on early was money, that the people made a living crawling back in the mines, risk getting hurt and even killed, dangerous job. I read somewhere that the underground coal miners, which my dad was one of them, their life expectancy was about 20 years shorter than average men. And I thought, whether it's true or not, I know they suffered health problems, black lung and so forth, and plus the injuries from rock falls in the mines. And but those people you're reading about in the books, they're using their minds. And I determined to get an education. My first job was $1.15 an hour, and I was the happiest guy on earth. I was working for a finance company, but guess what? I got to wear a necktie, and which I didn't have. But I got to wear a necktie, and I thought, it's an executive job, $1.15 an hour. But I got to take courses that they furnished. They were on finance and marketing and so forth. And they were by mail. They would send me the lessons. I didn't have to pay for them. And boy, I thought I was getting a bargain. And so I was told I was the youngest manager in CIT's history. I was in the early 20s. And I did that until I was contacted over a job as a second person in a new bank. And I worked in the bank 8 years before I made president of the bank. And I said, did that 18 years, and I've done this for 22 years. And I don't know, I may do it 22 more. My daughter thinks I will. But anyway, life has been great. And to see people and so many examples of people that's taken a material and done something with it, it just, I never get tired of it. Like, I believe it was Friday, I got a couple books that were printed in Bulgaria. And yesterday I got 4 books that was printed in China. I can't even read the things, okay? But it still thrills me like Christmas. I look at them and see if our copyright notice in them, and that's the only point. The attorney asked them to send samples of the book and to put our copyright, which is in English. I can read the copyright notice, and plus I got a whole room full of books, and gosh, I would like to give some of them away. We don't want to throw them away, so when the room gets full, we'll assistant I work with, we'll transport them out to the storage area. So somebody will come by and say, hey, would you happen to have some books printed in Macedonia or somewhere else? And and we would just give them the books.
Mhm.
So
We do have international people that are a part of a Life Innovation Global. So I might have to hit you up for that list of what languages that you have in your storage.
I can't think of any. For example, it's more than 50 languages. Okay,
Oh, wow.
some of them are dialects, but Russia, China, Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, golly, just the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, all the Spanish-speaking countries,
Mhm.
just on and Portuguese and so forth. I mean, I have one publisher in Brazil that does Portuguese, and he's probably published at least 75 of our books that we have, and I've been doing business with him for years. He comes to visit. He comes to visit me once a year until the COVID virus. He would go to the New York Book Fair when I had a book fair, just help me out in the booth, and I played a little part in a movie out in California. They had the red carpet, and we had invites. He and his wife flew up and attended that. So he's been very supportive outside of just doing our book, as to promote what we do. And
Yeah, I was looking forward to coming out and seeing you too, but I guess I'll still have to wait a few months before it's okay to get out there.
yeah, we hope that gets because people just love to, I'm in the room set up the archives. I hope the lighting's good. I
Right.
mess with the lighting, but this room, there's no phone or nothing in here. You won't see any disruptions, and it's set up. I do a couple of these a week. I would like to do one every day, but time just don't allow with the other work we have to do. But we would like to go back to there, because we got the archives. I got everything from Al Whitney, the Devil original manuscript, Law of Success manuscript. I've got his eyeglasses, his ruler. I've got hundreds and hundreds of his books. I've got first editions. There's only 5,000 first editions in March of 1937. I don't know, I've got 6, 7, 8 of them, and I've got some of every year it's been published. And I've got one case that's got more than 100 books still in the wrapper that he sat down and signed. It's never seen circulation. And
Oh, wow.
so we've got all kinds of material. I've got newspaper articles back. For example, I recently did a little book on self-confidence. That was from a big full page in the New York Post in 1930, New York Post, which I think is out of business today. But anyway, we have so much material that people just love looking at it. And so I think we got all these canceled checks, just on and on of material that we have that is saved over a lifetime, and we still create books. We still got audios and lectures and stuff. It's not been published.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, what I want to do right now is just bring up some of our delegates for you to meet them personally. Everyone was so excited. We had a few that are able to be on today, and some people have to work and other things, but we do have a few of them. Would you like to meet a few delegates?
Well, yeah, sure. Always, whether they're well known or not, anyone who's used the material can better their life. Hope's what drives us.
Right, it is.
We're not promised anything. Some people are waiting. Says when I'm paid more, I'll work harder. Well, they got it just backwards until they do more. The man that interviewed me in 1975 offered me a banking job. He'd read the material. He started a bank when he was 29 years old. We're friends today. He's a mentor. He's, I would say, filthy rich, very private individual. He's a supporter. He'll hire anybody I send to him. I've never sent no one to him for a job. He's got manufacturing plants in Abington, Virginia, Fort Worth, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia, and employs thousands of people. But he told me on that day in 1975, Don, do a little extra one day, it won't matter. You do a little extra for a week, probably nobody notice it. But if you'll work harder than the other people around you, I promise you, one day you'll be the success most of the world only dreams of. And I
Right.
remember that like it was, and I don't know where you read the book, that 101 attributes the guy did on me or not, but he's got a part in that. He did an interview for the, as one of the 101 people that the author interviewed. He had some wonderful, wonderful advice.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to see if you can move to, I don't know if it's to your left a little bit so that you're a little bit more in the middle of the camera here. Is it the left or to the right? Nope, the other way.
Oh, yep.
I must have picked the wrong direction. There you go. Awesome. Awesome. So first up, I'm going to bring a person who's been with me for, I think, several years now doing work in a number of companies that I have. Her name is Larnie Mulvey. She's a power lifter, a motivational speaker, and she is a part of Life Innovation Global. So I will bring her up right now, add her to the stream. And here we have Larnie Mulvey. Hi, Larnie, how are you? Are you on mute?
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I was on mute.
I'm great. Life is good.
Awesome. Awesome. It's so awesome to meet you, Mr. Green. Do I call you Mr. Green? Do I call you Doc?
Well, I always enjoy talking to people about the material. I remember I was married 54 years before my wife passed away. And I remember one night she said, "What are you doing?" "I'm studying my lesson." And I taught it 12 times as a credit course for the night. She said, you mean as many times you've taught that you have to study? And I said, well, it's a pretty smart bunch of students, and I like to be well prepared and give them some examples. And I said, besides, it's 3 hours. She said, you can talk 3 hours. I've heard you plenty of times. So there's always something to learn. And we learn, like I said, I told the host, we learn from books and from other people. And if we're not reading, we're already down one. And then the next thing is, if we're not around people that we can learn something from, said, if you're the smartest one in the room, you got trouble. You need another environment, because we can learn from other people. And it's amazing. I remember my chancellor to college, Dr. Smitty. He also served on my bank board, so we become personal friends. And he told me, he said, actually, he was active up. He lived to be 96. And he told me one day, he said, Don, he said, I know you've noticed it. If you got something you want to get done, just give it to a busy person.
Right.
So because so many people are saying that statement I've printed, there are 7 days in a week, and some days one of them. That was the first lesson when I taught the course was, I said to the youngsters, I said, when you go back to your dorm tonight or your room or where you got, I said, would you do me a favor and get your calendar out and look for someday?
Right.
Don't think you'll find it. When we say, wait, someday I'm going to start exercising. Someday I'm going to pay down my credit card. We're not doing nothing but flat lying to ourselves, because there is no someday. We have to say, this is what I'm going to do, and we write it down. And the reason we write it down, I gave a speech to the Chamber of Commerce one time on goal setting. This lady was a school teacher. She identified herself, and I knew her. I already knew her. And she said, I do goals, but said, I don't write them down. I said, that's what we call dreams.
Right.
There's a verse in the Bible in Hanukkah, or I don't have, that's not the right pronunciation, but it says, if you have a vision, write it down and make it plain.
It's Habakkuk 2:2.
Yeah, and if you don't think enough of it to write it down and say, this is what I'm going to do. For example, I walk 5 miles every day. I don't mean someday. In 2021, there was not one single day that I walked at least 5 miles. And the year before, I did actually miss one complete day. I went out of town and I didn't get back, and I guess I could have. I didn't get back till 11 o'clock. But I missed a complete day of walking. One other day, it was so cold I couldn't stand it, and I was with my daughters. We couldn't find a place to walk, and I walked 3 miles. I didn't get to 5 miles in. Mm-hmm. This past year, I didn't miss any, and I've not missed one. I have a key to the convocation center where the college kids play basketball. If they're practicing or playing, I go in there and watch them. There's a walking thing up above them. And if we're closed like on a Sunday or there's nobody there, I've got I've got a car and I can slide into the little and get in. They always leave some of the lights on. Of course, I got a treadmill if I have to. I prefer walking in the neighborhood, but it's cold weather. We've had it's been as low as 10 degrees one day, and it's it's not very comfortable. It's just so much easier to go to the convocation center, and that's what I do. And I leave at 3:30. Well, last night I left at 3:30. I got my walk-on coming in, but I come back in here because I did an interview at 6 o'clock. It was with a board. It was a agency that grants money, and I petitioned them for money to pay the tuition for high school kids in impoverished area that they could take the course, get 3 hours credit to University of Virginia, and
that's great. That's great. I wanted to, Don, just kind of like jump in here and interrupt and see. And Larnie, did you have a question for Don?
I actually do, because I feel like I'm going through this as someone who is a new entrepreneur, the feeling giving up, the feeling of, you've said something about the word busy, and, give it to someone who's, says they're busy and they'll get something done for you. But I don't want to feel that busy feeling. I want to feel that accomplished feeling that I am actually doing what my purpose in life is to be. So how do you feel? What are your thoughts on people who feel that they're about to give up?
Oh, well, the first thing is, if there's only one road to happiness, I don't care how long you live or there's only one road to happiness. That's through somebody else. As long as you're concentrating on yourself, find some need and supply it, and you'll do okay. You text me your address. I'll send you a couple of books I wrote. Maybe you'll get some ideas. To start with, not just talking about me, but I guess it's an example. I'm a true entrepreneur, and I don't mean this to brag or anything. I came home one day and I said, I had lunch with attorney today. Is the bank in trouble? No, bank's not in trouble. I said, I'm going to form a cable TV company. Well, you don't even watch television. I said, but Phil, honey, average person does 7 hours a day television. And I said, they got a monopoly, but people don't realize it. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the company was Adelphia. I can talk about them because the father and son went to prison for embezzlement from our stockholders. But we sold out to them, but we took cash when we sold after, 15, 16 years. But they were borrowing money to buy their competitors out, and they just kept raising the rates. Well, I knew they couldn't raise the rates. They couldn't lower the rates to match our rates because we didn't borrow no money. And we charged half what they charged, and we had the exact same 55 channels back then. And we didn't have to advertise or anything because we was charging half what they was doing, and they couldn't lower their prices. Everybody signed up for us. We did one town. They was trying to buy us, trying to scare us that they'd lower their price. And I told them I wasn't born in the dark. I said I know a little bit. I said, the FTC won't let you cut the rates unless you cut them all the way across the state of Virginia. And I know enough about business, being a bank president. I know a little bit about business. You're not going to lower the rates. So we built a second town. And then they're offering us money or stock and what have you. And then we got licensed to build a third and fourth time. Then they knew we was really, because we was on a roll, we wasn't taking no money out of it. And then the offer was so good and was out of this world. They wanted to get rid of us. And I told them, but it's got to be a cashier's check. I don't want no stock because it was an unlisted company. It was Adelphia. And they sold out, and they're part of Comcast today, which I have in my home. But wow. It was fun. It was fun. I didn't know nothing about cable. I didn't know about cable TV. But I hired one guy that hired people with linemen. And we basically didn't even have an office. We had a CPA do our books. And we'd meet in somebody's house of a night, discuss things, or meet at a restaurant and discuss things. Now, which way direction? Because the whole thing about cable is get as many people as you can in a condensed area. If someone wants cable 2 miles up in the mountains, you can't afford it. They would never pay you enough money. So you want to get this lady, then you want to get her next door neighbor. So you're getting a customer for a month, and you spend very little money. So that's kind of the basis of it. but it's the most rewarding feeling in the world to be an entrepreneur. I mean, now why in the world would I get into stuff like I was a bank president?
Right.
But it goes back to when I was a kid. When I was little, I remember one lesson distinctly. My dad was an underground coal miner. We never had a bathroom until I went to start high school. But I thought everybody else lived like that. And we did eat good. But I wanted to join the Boy Scouts because I know the kids in town belonged to the Boy Scouts. They had them uniforms. I needed $8 and I told Mom, I like to give me $8. Oh, honey, we can't waste your daddy's money. Said he crawls around them old coal mines. Said he might get hurt or even get killed. We wouldn't have no money. I mean, to tell an 8-year-old that's enough to scare the devil out of him. She said, "Won't you go mow your uncle's yard?" Said he don't have no boy. Said, don't he pay you a quarter every time you mow it? Push more, okay? And so I worked. I picked up pop bottles. I got more than enough to join. But guess what? I didn't care enough about the Boy Scouts because that was my money. I learned to make money.
Right.
It was licensed. I'll send you my book. You send me a watch. I had a zoo when I was in high school. I made thousands of dollars, and I hope the statute of limitations run out because I never filed no income tax. I said, Dad, I'm making a lot of money. I said, do I got to full taxes? He said, kids don't have to pay income tax. And so my dad's wise. I never got no license. He helped me build a little stand. We got a pop machine and we sold soft drinks and added knickknacks and souvenirs along the highway. I got a friend to paint me some basically homemade sign that said Indian Mountain Reptile Garden ahead. I charged a quarter, 10 cents for kids, and I started selling souvenirs. You buy a little ashtray, and I still got some of the stuff. After all these years, this is back in the 50s. That said Indian Mountain Reptile Garden. You can take an item that costs a quarter, and you get $1 for it because it's a souvenir, okay? But putting that little sticker on it. And it was just, I absolutely loved it. And but I learned to make money. It's cable TV. It was dry cleaning business. It was spring water. I built Dollar General stores. I built Pizza Plus. I developed land for a nursing home, an office building, and for land for Walmart. On and on and on. And why did I do it? Because I had that between my ears. I knew I could, and I was just spurred for results. It was past the idea of helping money, except when I did the foundation, a girl was typing for me. She said, Don, what little foundation in books and all said, what do you think you can do with it? I said, Anita, we are going to give the college, we'll start off with $1 million. And here I am operating with a desk that a friend gave me, my partner gave me, that I was in some business with, and a fax machine that was less than $100, phone and fax machine built in together. Had that dry cleaner, made all kinds of noise, but I had a door. I had to keep my door shut to drown out the noise. And then the college knew what I was doing, and they offered me space out here. So we have 5 rooms on campus, and I love it because we have campus police. They clean the sidewalks. They come in, clean our office, and they take care of our computer. If we're down on the computer, we can call the people tech and they're over there and straighten it out in a matter of moments. So it's worked out. It's worked out wonderful. And when people ask me, when you're going to retire, retire to what? So if you got trouble and you said you're worried, going sitting down in a rocking chair, it won't take you nowhere.
Right.
It might consume your time, but it will not take you nowhere sitting in a rocking chair.
And Don, that's what I like about listening to you, because if people listen to the stories, if people listen to them intently and then think about their life and think about how this relates to their life principles and business principles, you can really draw a lot out of that. And so I really appreciate you sharing with Larnie. And yes, I'll get you her information so that you can send those books. And I want to bring up another delegate. So thank you, Larnie, for being on.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Don.
Thank you. I just happen to love what I do and being very fortunate and very blessed. I said, I feel like waking up and pinching myself. Don, are you really alive, or are you just in some kind of a dream world? Because
well, you are in a dream world.
I got a card on my desk. I got a card on my desk where I ate my oatmeal in the morning. It's very simple. God, Show me someone I can help today. In Jesus' name, amen. And the day's not going to get by that I don't help someone. If nothing else, I need to send her a book as somebody that makes an inquiry or something like that. So I send out something every day. And I do something or another that can, and it's a natural. I mean, how much time does it take? 5 minutes or something or another to address a book and write a message in it, and I'm going to lunch anyway, and drop it off at the post office.
Right.
I mean, it takes only I'm constantly reminded of Acts 20:35, more blessed to give and receive. And you remember I did some fundraising at the Christian College with Zig Ziglar, and he said, "Did you get anything in the mail today from Sears?" No. Well, you must not have put no order in. What he's trying to tell us is, if we're expecting anything, let's start off by giving first, okay?
Right.
Then we'll let things happen. They'll come back to you. If nothing else, if the feeling is, someone's going to enjoy getting this book, and never hear from them again or nothing. You've done your bit when you give them the book. That's the reason I give away thousands and thousands of books. And if you look at that book 101, that guy did on me, it's got a picture of a birdhouse. I hired a guy who was unemployed to build 8 birdhouses. They hold about 150 books, and I placed them on the outside of the area libraries, the main office and the branches in the community. Mm-hmm. And it says Lonesome Pine Library. Take a book or leave a book, and they don't have to leave one. And I keep my Lexus, a trunk of it with full of books. Mm-hmm. I'll stop. I'm going through a town or something. They got one. I'll pull over and check our little box and see how it's doing. And if I'm not able to visit the town in a few weeks, I'll take a box to the main library and say, "Would you send these to Pennington? Or would you send these to Hayside or whatever?" And awesome. And just stay in touch with them. And hopefully, my mom was 90-something. She said, "Dawn, you've given away thousands of books, haven't you?" Yes, I guess I have. You guess those kids read them? I said, "Mom, all I know is I hope so." I said, "This kid read them, made all the difference in the world."
And a lot of people have read them, and we're going to be reading them as part of what we're doing in Life Innovation Global. So I want to bring on another delegate. And you were talking about health, and the other night when we were talking, when you were trying to find my book that you said you were going to try to order on Amazon, I'm like, Don, you wrote the foreword for it, so you're not going to have to buy it on Amazon. But you were talking about health, and I think we need to do some kind of health book on you, because all the different health tips you have are just simply amazing. And this young lady I'm going to bring on right now, she's a part of a health group that I guess we're on the same app. And so I see her name pop up from time to time with different things that she's doing related to health. And she's joined Life Innovation Global to get a step up on her entrepreneur journey. So right now I want to bring in Miss Donna Roberts and have her meet you as well.
Hi.
Hey, Miss Donna.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And so, Donna, this is Don Green, as you know, from the Napoleon Hill Foundation, and we'll be using some books from him and Napoleon Hill, which is Think and Grow Rich. And you have a question for Don on today?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, one of the things in order for us to be successful, we have to reach out to people. And there's a risk, because there's a risk of rejection. I would like to know what your mindset is in facing rejection. How do you overcome rejection so that it doesn't interfere with you obtaining your goals?
Well, I look at it like this. I've never had a rejection. I've simply had some things that didn't work, and we are not defeated until we quit. And some of them are funny. We remember stories. What's your first name?
Donna.
Donna?
Mm-hmm.
Donna? Yes. That's my daughter's name. Only one child, Donna.
Oh.
So you're off to a good start already.
Awesome.
She's a regular angel. But I just see it as a lesson learned, because if we're looking behind us or saying, and we go about something half-heartedly and say, "Well, my spouse said it would work. I don't know what I was thinking of," or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just simply say it's a goal. You can say right in blood, right down, this is what I'm going to do. If Hill, in his lectures, he said, how many times does the average person try something before they quit? and the audience would holler 2, 3, 4, and whatever. No, he said, I said on average is less than 1. Most people have an idea and they never even start. And there is no such things as, I had somebody the other day tell me, said, I just have a hard time making a decision. No, you don't. You made a decision not to do nothing. There is no such thing as not making a decision. I made a decision I'm going to go back to school, or I made a decision I'm not going to go back to school. Either one of them, you made a decision. There is no such thing as not making a decision. But it's to have the desire and the purpose strong enough that you look at some another, not that you defeated, but that the fact is that you didn't know all the answers. One of my favorite quotes is from Martin Luther King, and I know his Martin Luther King Day is coming up here at the college next Monday. But yeah. Anyway, he said, you don't have to see the top of stars to take the first step. Most people are waiting until they got perfect plans laid out there for them. And the reason I tell stories is people remember stories. If you're and not a preacher, but if you read the Bible, the parables, they're nothing but stories. How many times did he even identify? He identified Lazarus raising from the dead, but it's the woman at the well, the prodigal son. He never gave us a name. We don't need one. And we might not remember all of it, but we will remember the story. We remember stories. I mean, that's how our history has been passed down from one generation to the other, is through stories. But you got to look at it. I can remember when I love art. I went to estate sales and when I was in banking and I took art history. I can't draw a straight line, but I appreciate art. And I went to a lot of auctions and people down the estates often I learned. And I was doing it and I was making money. Okay, I wasn't doing it, but I was just doing it for a thrill. I mean, to me, it was a thrill the first time I got listed in a major art studios and sold stuff through Sotheby's and so forth, of stuff that I'd found. I didn't need the money. I just want to learn the process of how you did it. Well, I met the stepson of a guy named Eugene Kubanov. That won't be his right pronunciation, but he happened to be a famous Russian painter that painted a set for the movie War and Peace. His stepson was, I call him Dr. Nikita. I can't say his last name. But he teaches a social science PhD at Moscow University, but he was part of the exchange program. He come over here and taught one summer at the University of Virginia, one of them at Maine or whatever. And I met him and he was telling me about his father-in-law. And so I started buying his paintings and I did okay. And I loved them. So I had a friend who was real big in the art business. He said, Don, Sloan and Kenyon was the auctioneers, was the art company. They're located in Bethesda, Maryland. He said there's a lot of rich Russians live in that area. He said, I think if you put some of those paintings in the auction, you could do real well. I think I put about 10 in it, but we went up there, and I never went to something like that. You know, it was fancy people dressed up. They were serving wine and cheese and socializing and what have you. And they had a catalog and listed all my Russian paintings. I think about 10 of them. And they started auctioning them, and some did okay. Some of them didn't. I don't even think they brought what I gave for them. And I said, Don, you're kind of stupid, wasn't you? You didn't put a minimum in the contract. That's all I had done. If this paint don't bring $4,000, I want it back. But I didn't do that. In the future, because it never come up before, when I had sold something another, give $150 for a final fake place in a little shop and recognize what it was. And it brings several $1,000s. Not that you needed the money, but it's just a good feeling that you're able to use your mind to do something other.
Right.
This time is, I could have said, well, I'm not going to do no more art sales. I done got burned on that one. But no, I said, well, next time I do, they have you to sign a contract as what the percentage of sale and so forth is. I never even thought about it, but I learned something from it, because the next time I sent some paintings off, when the discussion was, I send pictures of it. This is what it is. It's got to bring a minimum of this, or I don't want to sell. So I started putting that in the contract. But I could have got upset about it. I said, well, you're stupid. You don't try that no more. No, I learned something other from it. It's like that. I was asked once, said, what's the best business deal you ever did? I said, probably one I didn't do. I said, we can't do everything. Mm-hmm. But we learn, and we can't jump at everything, because there's only such thing as time. So we have to pick and choose, because it's kind of like on the interviews. I had one guy, his name was Chris, and he was from California, and he kept calling, and I would try to encourage him, whatever, and I kept telling him to take the course. And he asked about questions about self-confidence. It was in the books. He wanted me to be a librarian for him. And so I kept telling him he never did sign up for the course. I told him he could make him payments or whatever, but he kept calling. So one day he called and I had somebody waiting, and he was extremely busy. And I said, Chris, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to be rude to you. Till you take the course, do not call me back. Wow. I said, up in years, I said, I got a little money. If you got my money, I will get it back. But you're stealing my time. I can't get my time back. And I said, I want to help you, but you got to learn to help yourself. I can't do it all for you. I can't be a librarian and tell you what page something's on, whatever. I said I could do it if I would, but you won't learn that way. You need to do that part yourself. And I said, you get involved in it. You sign up for the course and you have questions. There will be you can get in touch with someone that's taught the course for years and years, and they will help you out. Of course, he never did. But I mean, and I don't normally would do anything like that because I want to help people. That's all we're here. But you can only help those people that's want to help themselves.
Right.
You continuously do it. I don't care if it's your children. You make it too easy. You make it too easy for them. My mom did me a favor. She probably didn't realize it, but not giving me that money for that Boy Scout uniform, because the ability to learn to make money was much more important than what I might have learned in the Boy Scouts. I'm sure, because I learned things like on marketing. We charge a quarter to get in, because we had a lot of people left the area in the coal business in the early 50s after World War II, when the coal business went downhill, and they went to Indiana and Ohio, and they worked with General Motors and Detroit and so forth. But they would come in and visit their relatives. So the relatives, I mean, there's not a lot in the area to see. It's a beautiful area as far as the scenery and so forth, but there's not a lot of entertainment. So they would load of them up, and I'd recognize them, maybe 2 or 3 cars sometimes, and they'd have out-of-state tags, and they'd bring them to the snake pit. We call it his Indian Mountain Reptile Garden. But anyway, I began to recognize some of those people. Hey, this guy, he's been here before. And some of them would even say, hey, Don, I brought you some customers. Said, it's my brother-in-law or from Indiana. They're on vacation and so forth. And so it was just human nature. I didn't get down on a marketing book. I said, oh, you do me a favor. Would you do me a favor? Yeah. Well, I'm not going to charge you a quarter to get in. You just show them around and tell them about the different snakes in the pit and the animals and so forth. And so they felt big. Here's an old coal miner getting center stage. He's getting attention from these people he's brought, and he's just loving it. And only thing it did, he'd encourage you to bring more people, because he knew when he come back and brought people, I recognize him. I'm not going to charge him anything. I would just tell him, hey, when you bring me some people, just stop over here at the souvenir stand, which was right joining it, and where I kept myself. And I said, I won't charge you nothing. You can show them around. So it was a marketing lesson that I would not learn in school, because I've been on the board of the University of Virginia for 20 years. And if I don't say it's a fault, but those professors, most of them have never done nothing. Okay. Mm-hmm. The chairman of the college was also chairman of the board of the bank I was at when I was teaching the course, and he's an attorney, still living, way up in his 80s. He said, Don, those students just love you. I said, they think I'm funny, don't they? He said, no. He said, you wouldn't believe the ones that's told me, because he taught a law class also. He said, they told me that you tell them stories about these different businesses that you've done, and said a lot of them know you, and said most of the professors haven't done anything, and they would even say to him, how do we know what's in the book works if they ain't never done it themselves? So I gave them stories, in marketing. I remember I hired a lady from another shop, and I was paying her a lot more. I was down there one evening. We was open 7 to 7, and we give one-day service. It was a drive-in. They could drive in, drop their clothes off at the window. Didn't have to get the kids out of the car. I spent $39.95 studying in dry cleaning business, because I wasn't satisfied with my 30-some suits. Come back and smell them and whatever. You had the old time, and it took a week to get stuff. I didn't need it, but it was just outdated. And so about, I don't know, 5 or 6 little girls, giggly girls, they stopped down on the fall with their band uniform when school started to get them clean. And I said, hey, girls, we're not going to charge y'all to clean your uniform. You're not? No, we're not going to charge you to clean them. I said, And you tell them, and I knew these because that's where I went to school. They about 125 in the band. I said, any of them other kids in school want their uniforms, come sell them to drop them off down here, and we won't charge them. So when she left, my lady Juanita, she said, we're going to go broke, ain't we? I said, you ever been late getting paid? No. I said, do you think me and Wendell, as my partner, do you think we're going to go broke? I said, we're not stupid. I said, all of them kids' parents won't come to us. I know, but they've got an opportunity to come. And even the name itself we was called the cleaners. Okay. You'd tell your husband would say, or you'd tell him, would you drop these off at the cleaners? That was us. That's all the sign said, the cleaners on the outside.
Awesome.
I bought a bag for everybody that became a customer. It said the cleaners on it. It was a with a drawstring. It had a tag on it. It would have Donna's name on there, like her blouses, lightly starched and so forth, and give them all the instructions on there. So you drop them dirty clothes off in that bag. It's a drive-in if you want to. Didn't have to get your kids out of the car seat. And you can pick, if you dropped them off in the morning, you can pick them up the same day on your way home if you're working at the courthouse or a lawyer or whatever. And we'd also even clean the bag. So we give that bag back to you with your clean clothes. And so would it only be normal that when you accumulate some more dirty clothes, you put them in this bag that we have furnished you with a drawstring on it? And would you even dare think about dropping them off at another cleaner with somebody else? Never give a coupon. We charged more than the other cleaners did. We never run an ad, but we did favors. I was down there one Saturday morning when the bank wasn't open, and I would stop, and I did such things as heck, we built a dollar store, we leased it, but anyway, I'd check see if they need something other, and a lady came in and said, "We've had a death in the family." Said, "Can I get these cleaned today?" And of course, Juanita knew to say yes because we give 1 day service. And I didn't say anything, but when she left, after she left, I told Juanita, I said, "Juanita, when that lady comes back to pick him clothes up, don't charge her anything. Don't charge her nothing. I don't even think they use us as cleaner. That's the first time I've ever seen her before." I said, "Well, don't you think she's had a death in the family? Don't you think she's had enough trouble? Can't we do a little bit for her?" I said, "You're not going to get late getting paid." I said, "It's just a little favor. And she's going to remember that. And if she don't, that's her problem. That's not our problem. We've give her an opportunity to repay the favor. And if she does, that's good. If she don't, that's fine too. We can live with it." And you constantly do things like that with not expecting anything in return, other than the fact is you did a kind deed for someone because you could afford to.
Mm-hmm.
And
I really appreciate that story too, because
to me, it's just human nature. It's
right. Your kind heart.
I'll do something for you when you've done something for me. Well, you may have to wait a long time. You know, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with people. It's just a smart investment. When you do someone a favor, send someone a book or whatever. I mean, I want. Well, heck, I don't know where this will go to, but my bank was named Black Diamond Savings Bank. Black Diamond being a nickname for coal. So I got an order one day from a guy in Burlington, North Carolina, and he sent a check, and in the envelope it said Black Diamond Real Estate and Appraisals. Well, that was Black Diamond was the name of the bank. So when I was sending him the books, I saw his letter. I put him a little memento, a little thing from him. I said his name's Bert. His name's Robert. He called him Bert. I said, "Bert," I said, "I was president of a bank for many years, and it was named Black Diamond. Here's a little token from my banking days." And just to see, Monday, I believe I got $1,000 donation from the guy. I don't expect nothing like that. But if people do it, that means that, yeah, you've added value to my life, and I would like to do something other back in turn.
You do so much giving, Don, and I think that's one thing that attracts people to you as well, not just because of Napoleon Hill. It's because of you, Don Green, and all that you do to help people. And so I appreciate you being on to speak with Miss Donna. We do have one more delegate. I'm trying to sneak in here before it's time for us to go. And Donna, you want to just go ahead and say your goodbyes to Don?
Well,
Thank you so much. This was some rich stuff. Thank you so much.
I absolutely love what I'm doing, and I don't tell you these stories to brag or anything, because I said, like, what I give to the church or what I give for the college, stuff like that, they'll recognize you enough. Your name's on the convocation center on the wall, the major donors of the university and stuff like that, which is nice or whatever. But I said forgiving is these 4 people needs to know. And one of them automatically, when you do something other, which is our good Lord, He knows when we do an act. And it doesn't have to be monetarily. My mother didn't have the money, but if you're sick, she'd take you a cake. She'd bake you a cake. She'd take food to them. Her neighbor got drugs. He got hurt in the mines, and he got on drugs and served a couple of years in prison. The neighbor shunned him. She found out when he was coming back. She baked a cake and took up and put it on his porch for it. Because we don't necessarily have to do money, but the good Lord knows, we know, the person, whether it be the church or an individual, they know. And then the other person, if you're like me, as you file your income tax, the guy that prepares your tax return notice. Right. Nobody else needs to know. Nobody else needs to know. You can tell stories or what have you, but you don't go around and holler, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. I would.
But I think whenever you tell those stories, Don, nobody is thinking that you're bragging. It's about teaching the various principles that you teach us through those stories. So we really appreciate that. So I want to bring on our last delegate. Thank you, Donna, for being on. See, he likes you, Donna. That's his daughter's name. So you got extra time with Donna. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I enjoyed it, and I hope y'all did.
So wait, Don, we have one last delegate right here. And her name is Keandra. Are you on mute, dear? Let's see if we can get her off mute. There we go.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Life has been good.
That's awesome. I'm very excited to meet you. I could not let this opportunity pass me by. I guess I want to take advantage of this opportunity and ask you, I heard a lot about your story about you having, your daughter and your wife and how strong of an entrepreneur you are. And my biggest question is, how did you balance and prioritize switching from an employee to an employer and catapulting into your dreams? How did you prioritize your responsibilities in that career?
One of the great lessons is, if you're around me, you can think, I'm almost to do nothing, okay? I have no technical skills whatsoever. My dad was an electrician in the mines. I can't fix nothing. For 54 years, my wife did everything from changing the light bulb, the batteries, and all, took care of all that stuff. I can't hang a picture. They won't let me touch nothing in the office. I can't fix my car. I can't fix my lawnmower. But what I did learn was to get people who could do the material. If I didn't have my office staff that I work with, nobody works for me. Nobody's ever worked for me. They work with me, and I take care of them. I don't have personnel turnover. I could tell you story after story after story. And I get people to do it. Like, why should I sit there and type something another when I can get a student or someone to pay them well to do that and move it? I got, that's how I think I published 11 books last year. And let's see, I get 3 or 4 coming out on February 15th. One of them, I wrote every single word of it. It's called Millionaire Mindset. It's up on as a pre-order. They hired me to write it. It was called a little book on wealth. I combined Napoleon Hill's writings with some banking experience to try to help people out financially. They changed the name to Millionaire Mindset for the attention or something. I don't know. But you can't hardly argue with it, PR people. But you can't do it yourself. You got to get other people to work with you, not for you, work with you. And so you can keep all kinds of things going at the same time. I've got numerous projects going. I mean, we're dealing with 500 foreign publishers. I've got one kid that's worked for me 15 years. He's got 2 degrees from Purdue. That he handles foreign solicitation. I show him how to do it, and he sends them out, and he sends a PDF file for them to review it, and we'll do. I do the dealing as to the amount we charge for advances and so forth. And then I have an attorney. I just send him, Bob, do this for what the Chinese publisher is. It's for 5 years. This is the advance. This is the rate, and a royalty rate, and that's all it takes. And my assistant sends it. I don't. I can use my phone. I can send an email. I can pull up stuff on the computer in the office, but I very seldom ever do. I do it at night if I come by here or on a weekend or whatever, because I got somebody else that does it. Zane come to work with me. He started working with me in the 8th grade. He's 14 years old. I started him at $10 an hour. He'd been here 12 years. He finished college in 3 years. He got his MBA the first 2 years. He worked full time, and he is paid, and he is paid well. He's got a little girl. His wife's a nurse. He's got a little girl that's 14 months old, and he takes her to the nursery at 7:30, and he comes in and runs my emails and stuff and lays them on my desk. And we usually leave at we're out of the office at by 3:30 of the day. We got a short, but we do a lot of stuff. I come in a weekend. I'll come back up night like last night and did a board meeting with people that handles grants that we applied for to help high school students pay for their education course in an online course that we've organized. So if he is a secret, it's to work with other people, because I can't take time to type that material up and all. Oh, I could. They tell you to focus on one job and do it well. Well, you can do that if you want to. But what if that don't turn out to say the people rejected you? They won't publish it. It won't agree to your term. No, we got dozens of things going at all times. I got numerous books are coming out. I said I think we've got 3 new books coming out in the month of February alone, and we've probably got 3, 4, or 5 books at some stage of process. Audio deals. So we've got about 90 some audios. It's a promotion of the material. Constant doing interviews with foreign publishers, doing podcasts, and so forth. I got a social media girl that teaches college. I can't handle 600 some thousand people on Facebook, but I tell Lana, hey, I can't keep up with their social life, where they went shopping or who they had over for dinner or whatever. But if it has something to do with our business, with license or material or publishing books, I need to know. And so she's able to separate that stuff out for me. So we have to have people we can work with, because you can't be a one-armed paper hanger and get a whole lot done. And I know these people. I've had people work with me had trouble delegating. Man, I don't worry about who gets credit. I take care of the people I work with, and I know they're going to take care of me. I know I'm going to look good if I got good people working with me, and I don't risk it. I guess I'm arrogant. I just tell the board, okay, just here's the results. I like to do this. I like to do this. I like to do this. I like to do. That's all for my people. It's not for Dawn, and because I know that they're a bunch of intelligent people. I know they're going to take care of me. And of course, that's not the reason why I'm working. I'm not working for the money. I mean, I've been bank president 18 years. If you're not financially secure, 18 years of bank president,
right?
Something bad wrong. So it's having something worthwhile to do is what drives me. I mean, I'm not going to get up in the morning and sit around and drink coffee. I never cut the television on in the morning, okay? I never cut it on. I look at the weather on my phone to see how much coat I need to wear or whatever, but or take an umbrella. But why would you cut the news on and it's the same old, you call it crap or what you want to call it. That's no way to start the day. Mine was, like I told her a while ago, would be, while I'm eating my cereal, I got a little card there and I read it out loud, though I'm only one in the room, because my wife of 54 years passed away. I just simply says, God, show me someone I can help today. In Jesus' name, amen. That's the way I start my day, not by watching a bunch of idiots on television talk about how bad the country is and all. The question I got is, if it's so bad, why don't you leave? These
Right.
people, these people die to get to this country. I'm not going to run this country down. I might not particularly like people's in office or decisions they make, but I'm not going, because to be successful, if you could pick and choose, the first thing would be was be born in the United States of America, and be thankful that you are. I said, I do business in Liberia and with a church. I give them a lot of books and so forth. The average income is about $500 a year. It's one of the poorest countries on earth. It was founded by freed slaves. It's very, very, very poor. They speak English. We got women in this country spend that much getting their hair done.
Right.
You know, so to be thankful to be here and have the opportunity. I said, we have so many things that you can be successful as. It boggles imagination. But I remember my friend Earl Nightingale used to say, we can't do everything, but we can do something. So we get to pick and choose. You know, just like a menu, you go into a restaurant. You can decide you want fish or you want meat or you want or whatever. You want broiled fish or you want fried fish or whatever. But to be able to pick and choose and not be pigeonholed and have to work a certain profession. It's like the Jews in Europe. When they came over here, when they was over, that's the reason they all worked in the garment factories. It was one of the few things that the countries would let them do was work in the garment factories. And they came over here. You read their stories. They might have worked in the garments in factories in New York and the larger cities and all, but mostly their children did not. They grew up, went to Yale and to Harvard and what have you, because all of a sudden they had opportunity. They followed the garment industry if they wanted to, but they didn't have to. There was other things out there, and that's not always been the case here. Other places that had that opportunity. So that's a tremendous start. And to say if this guy don't get elected or if this guy gets elected, I'm going to leave the country. I don't know nobody left the country over that because our country's stronger than any one person, and I don't care if it's a president or who it is.
Right.
It's stronger than any one person. And to start off with, it's being thankful that we're here and thankful that we can make some positive changes. No, there's all kinds of things that's wrong, but that don't mean. I've just finished a book on, my daughter bought me for Christmas, on Abraham Lincoln and Frederick Douglass. To me, Frederick Douglass is a tremendous hero. We don't hear much about him, but his story is unbelievable. And it covers a race issue. It covers a race issue. It was a difficult subject, and it was not easy, but they developed a tremendous friendship, even though they had differences. Frederick Douglass was not satisfied with the progress that was being made, but they became good friends. He visited him. He invited him to the White House and what have you, which was untold of in them days for a black person to be invited to the White House, and so forth. But we can and we're not there. We probably never will be. But it's the same way with us. If I wasn't born a Roosevelt or a Bush or a Kennedy or what have you, but most of us, our parents did about the best they could. I remember going to school. We had kids in the 50s. The Corvettes come out in 54 and T-Birds about the same time. I had kids in high school driving new T-Birds and new Thunder. And me, I bought a 36 Ford from this old lady. Then her husband worked at a gross sale wholesale warehouse, and she couldn't drive. And I bought that car for I think it was $300. I was the happiest boy in school. You know why? That was my car. I bought that car. I worked that money out, and it was the best dating car I ever had in my life because it had little curtains on all the side windows. You could pull them down. Or you go to drive-in movie, and the windshield didn't have nothing on it, but people couldn't see into the car from going by the sides or anything. So that's where we went to. That's where we dated and went to the movies. But that 36 Ford, I was proud of it. It had been a Rolls Royce because I bought the thing. It was my car, and
Right.
made all the difference in the world because I knew how I did it. And there was lessons. I picked up them pop bottles for a penny a piece, my two brothers and I, and we'd take them in, get 100 or something other, or 200. We'd walk miles and pick them up and put them in a sack and take them to the store. He had a little sign next to the cash register. Though I was little, I could read it while he was taking care of us. And it simply said, "I complained because I had no shoes until one day I met a man who had no feet."
Oh,
Right.
my.
That's about 70 years ago that I read that. That's how that thing stuck with me. So, but it's human nature for us to compare ourselves with someone who's got more. How about we start comparing ourselves to those people that's living in, they're homeless. I don't know what their circumstances is or whatever. I'm not their judge, or the people live in other countries that don't have the opportunity we are. No, we tend to compare ourselves. We never going to have what Bill Gates has got, or Warren Buffett or whatever. But we've got an opportunity to do better, and I think that's what drives us. That we can always hope that we can make a little difference one step at a time. No, we can't do everything. But as my friend Earl Nightingale said, we can do something.
Right.
And I think that's what drives us. That's the reason I get up in the morning. I know I can do something. I may not can get everything done I would like to get done, but I know I can do something. And I'm not satisfied if I'm not progressing. And I would like to do that to the day they say, "Oh, Don dropped dead," whatever. And it's all in how you
We're hoping that that's not anytime soon, because you
Oh,
have a lot more.
So too.
Yeah.
A friend of mine asked me, "Do you have to get up and go to the bathroom now?" Yeah, I do. Ain't that aggravating? No, I can go back to sleep. Because when you have to get up and go to the bathroom at night, it means two things. One is you didn't mess up the bed, and the second one is you didn't die in your sleep. And so
Right.
it's all in how you interpret it. I'm thankful that I can get up and go to the bathroom. What if I had to have somebody come and wait on me, and do it? I can do it myself. So no, I'm not going to let getting up during the night and go to the bathroom ruin my day. It may take a little longer for me to get my 8 hours sleep in. I think it does take a little more as you progress in age. But heck, there's a whole lot less things than that, because 99% of the stuff happens in our life. It's not important.
Mhm.
Breaking a fingernail off, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, maybe a little bit aggravating, especially if it turns into a quick, but it's not no big deal. Even wrecking your car is no big deal unless somebody got hurt. But we can take little bitty things. It's like I come this morning, I did not have a parking place. Okay, we have 3 parking places assigned down there for Zane and myself and a visitor, and there's a sign up. Students to take all 3 parking places. I simply drove through the yard, around back of the building, and come into the door. And I called the campus police and told them, I said, all of our parking places have been took. But I wasn't going to let it ruin my day.
Mhm.
So when I go to lunches, I'll go out the back door and I can step in the car,
Mhm.
drive back through the grass. Nobody's going to say nothing.
Well, because you're also, it's because you're Don Green too. Okay, everybody knows that's there, and so we'll have to see what's going to go on with those students. But I know, Keandra, you're going to need to go, right? So I really appreciate you being on, Keandra, and I'm going to finish up here with Don. But thank you, Keandra, for joining us today, and congratulations for being a part of Life and Innovation Global.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Mr. Green, for everything. I really enjoy listening to your stories. I just recently lost my grandpa, and I'm just listening to your stories, and it's just been so uplifting. So I'm so encouraged.
Well, you guys stay in touch, and I appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Yeah, y'all too.
Okay, Don.
Okay.
Yeah, so before you go, I just want to see if there's anything in particular. There's so much in the Think and Grow Rich book, and there's a lot of other books. I'm going to be sending you the information from the few students that you mentioned you wanted to send something to, so that you can send those books out. But in Think and Grow Rich, is there anything that you can give us as far as maybe one thing that you feel that we should focus on? And that's a hard question, I know, because there's so much in.
He'll give us a pretty good thing to start. The point of all achievements is definitely of purpose. And of course, you mentioned it the first. We got to find something that we're excited about, not something that necessarily we make money on, because if you want to be a surgeon, you can't stand the sight of blood. You either got to get over the sight of the blood or think of something else. I think finding our purpose, Rick Warren did the book Purpose Driven Life.
Right.
That's the Bible to find. We must find our purpose. And I think the last time I looked, it sold 8 million copies. So that's the starting point. We have to have something other that we can get excited about. Otherwise, we won't have the passion, and we simply won't stick with it if we don't really involved in and have a passion for doing it. And we can get good at anything we have a passion for doing it, because we'll put the necessary time in it. And that is, I would quote Zig Ziglar, it comes down, everything in life comes down to how bad do you want it. If people weigh 300 pounds, they can say all the things they want to, but they don't want it bad enough to give up what they have to do, to sacrifice, to get where they ought to be. They can't just wanna, or they can't just think about it. It's the word is do, and I would say do in 22. Don't think about it. It's more than thinking. You got to. The word action is in Think and Grow 77 times. You think he's doing something other. And while you're on another subject is, I really got to go. But in the Bible, sin is mentioned 400 times. The word fear is mentioned 365 times. That's one a day. But guess what? Giving is mentioned 1,305 times. Don't you think he's telling us if that word is in there, that means something other? There's no use for me to pick up and read it if I'm not going to take the advice and do something with it. Giving's an important subject, and I'm not preaching to you, but he gave us his only begotten son.
Right.
And that's giving. And giving is in there 1,305 times. And so I think that's what the Bible is about, us giving. And he tells us over and over, when we help others, we're helping him. And so if you read that book and can't do a few things that said in it, you just waste your time. You might as well have been reading a novel. Okay. Okay, I really got to go. They're hollering for me. I promised somebody else. Okay.
All right. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, John.
You're very welcome.
Hey, everyone. My name is Krystylle Richardson. I really appreciate you being on today for our opening ceremony address from Don Green of the Napoleon Hill Foundation. We are Life Innovation Global and very excited about our national and international delegates. And I just want to read to you just some information about what we are and who we are and what we'll be doing. The vision of Life Innovation Global is to catapult people into the best versions of themselves, promoting creativity and civility for all. This was birthed under now King Clyde Rivers, King Dr. Clyde Rivers of I Change Nations. And when we started talking about all of the different creative things that we could be doing in the world to make the world a better place, and not just to put money in our pockets, but that is a part of it as well, so that we can have a life that we can sustain and then be able to give. Don Green talked about giving. So when we talked about that, one of the things that happened was we started talking about the word creativity, and then we talked about the word innovation. And it's been a favorite word of mine for a long time. And based on that, we discussed like all the different things that have happened in my life and his life, meaning Clyde Rivers, Dr. Clyde Rivers, King Clyde Rivers, and how innovation played such a huge part. From being a small child, playing with various toys, or being in elementary school, and my brother took my toys apart and made other toys, and I did the same thing to his toys. And so I'd wake up in the morning and the motor would be gone out of something that I had, or the same thing with him. I would take apart his items and make things. That was ingenuity. That was creativity. It wasn't just going back and forth, a sister and brother. That was related to nothing. It was related to using our creative minds to make something different out of something that already existed. And so that pattern has played a big part in my life, throughout my life, and including the whole entrepreneurship journey. And that started as being a kidpreneurs. Now, we didn't call it that, but whether it was shoveling snow or raking leaves or cutting rose bushes or painting houses, anything and everything that we needed to do to make money and help the neighborhood, help those single moms, and having where we were putting our hands to work and putting our minds to work. All of those little experiences are actually, some of them are in one of my books, Flint Out Loud, and it talks about 11 strategies for leadership and success. Now, my parents didn't necessarily talk about leadership and success and those kinds of strategies, or even entrepreneurship, but what they were doing were instilling in us that mind that we can do anything that we want to do and be anything that we want to be. And that's what happened to me when they sent me to elementary school with my little plastic briefcase and told me that. Now, yes, I was met with bullying. I was met with people whose minds had not expanded to the point of wanting to accept me and accept my uniqueness. But guess what? What that made me do as I grew up to be an adult was to understand that I needed to accept myself. And I needed to be proud of all of the things that had been put inside of me from my parents. And so if you are here, if you're listening to this and want to be a part of what we're doing with Life Innovation Global, I want to just ask you to just take some time to yourself and see, what have you done that actually has been creative? What have you done that has been innovative, where you put your mind to work in a specific way that has yielded big results, and maybe even sometimes small results. But all of the small results can add up to something big in your life if you just think about it in a different way. So part of the vision of Life Innovation Global is to help people understand that they are creative and that they can do way more potentially than what they've ever done in their whole lives if they tap into that creativity. Another thing is related to the mission of Life Innovation Global. The mission of Life Innovation Global is to be the main global resource for the advancement of creativity to cash flow in all continents. So let me say that again. The mission of Life Innovation Global is to be the main global resource for the advancement of creativity to cash flow on all continents. So right now we have several continents that are involved in what we're doing for this particular launch. And as we move forward, we will be looking for delegates to be ambassadors, to have students, bigger companies and corporations that want to do some give back models, some philanthropy. And then also there's paid portions of what we do as well. But we want to partner with people who have the same heart as us to get people in the mindset, of which it is a mindset, get people in the mindset of creativity and innovation. And so the next thing I want to go over is our core values. And then I want to get back to some of the things that Don Green said about him and his life in Think and Grow Rich. But here we are at the core values for Life Innovation Global. The core values for Life Innovation Global are to always foster an inclusive environment to promote creativity, open communication, increased confidence, sustainable cash flow through civility, compliance to local and international laws, while embracing honor, active faith, and integrity. I'm going to read that one more time. Our core values for Life Innovation Global are to always foster an inclusive environment to promote creativity, open communication, increased confidence, sustainable cash flow through civility, compliance with local and international laws, while embracing honor, active faith, and integrity. So again, if this is something that you are interested in being a part of what we're doing for Life Innovation Global, I would love to have you be considered for some of the different levels of involvement. And if you want to be a student, an ambassador, if you want to be on one of our boards for innovation in your country, we are accepting applications right now for people to be the main ambassador for their country. And there's more information I can give you related to that. And even if there is one already in your country, we can have secondary ones as well. We have some of that that's going on now too. So in that commercial you saw a couple different flags across Africa, and there'll be some other ones that we'll be posting in the next several months from other continents. But I'm extremely excited for all of those who have already joined us here nationally. You saw their names that were on that commercial that we'll be playing again when we wind up here, but excited to have every single person. Now, one of the things that we will be doing is using the original transcript of Think and Grow Rich. This is not the original transcript. This is one that says the 21st century edition. The transcript, the one that is the original transcript is at my house. But then I also have here the Think and Grow Rich for Women, which is by Sharon Lecter, and having where it takes a woman's approach and a woman's mindset, and there's some additional things that she has in here too, is really, really great. So it's very important, just like for me for the Bible, to have the King James Version so that you have the original version and then also branch off into other translations. This to me is a translation, and it is for women, but men, you can get something out of this as well. This is a very, very good read. The other one that I have is by Sir John Shin, and this is the Think and Grow Rich, which says How Rich Asians Think. Now, the thing about this book is he interviewed more than just Asians in here. There's a lot of different nationalities, ethnicities of people that he interviewed, but he wanted to also give a lot of great statistics and information and guidelines related to how rich Asians think, which is really how rich people think and what you can do to affect your thinking just the same as the rest of the Think and Grow Rich books. So as we go into this year, it doesn't matter when you're watching this, I want to just encourage you to know that greatness looks good on you. Greatness looks good on you. And part of what we need to do to make it look even better is what Don Green said. One of the last things he said related to doing, and doing something that you're excited about. And there was a quote at the Think and Grow Rich Legacy World Tour several years ago that was on the screen when John Shin was talking, which says that time is not running out, but your life is. Time is not running out, but your life is. Now, we know that there's going to be the end of the world at some point, right? But the point of that quote is that we need to spend each and every day striving to be the best version of ourselves. We need to spend each and every day having where we wake up and we pour into ourselves, not just with positive affirmations, but really believing that we matter. We need to pour into other people with some kind of give back model each and every day. And you heard Don Green. that every day, every week he has where he's writing something in a book or writing some information so that he can go and take it to the post office and give something to someone. That's a part of what he does every day. If you listen to the stories and want to listen to them again, there's so many great nuggets in there. And being an entrepreneur, when he wanted to join the Boy Scouts and his mom didn't give him the money, he had to earn the money to join. And then he was very proud of that money. There's a lot of different things that he gave that were principles that are in Think and Grow Rich, but that are just great for life. The one about the cleaners, that was the name of the business that he had, was called The Cleaners. The cheerleaders and other people in the band, he did their clothing for free. And what would happen would be potentially, not all of them, he said, but a lot of the parents then came and were paying customers. So you see, it's not that you do these things to have people give back to you, but if you are just a good person, it will come back. It will come back. So Life Innovation Global was talked about all throughout everything that he was saying, because we look at various areas of life. He talked about confidence. That's an area of Life Innovation Global. He talked about business, spiritual life, his health. He eats oatmeal every single day, and he has a card that he reads every day that has a positive comment on it. And so these are things, ladies and gentlemen, that are very, very important for us to do as part of our everyday life. And Life Innovation Global is very extremely happy to be here to help entrepreneurs to learn more about their finances, learn more about business, learn more about confidence and how they can get their messages out. And so I'm very excited about all of our delegates. They've already done their input forms, and we're starting to dig into some of the things that they have as blockages. We're starting to do an evaluation of finances. We're looking at their business plans, or if they even have one, and what we can do to beef up that part of what they do to go forward to make money. We talk about the cash flow quadrant, and there's just a lot of information that is brought all into one place. The main thing, one of the main things that we talk about is element 10, because I believe, as the founder, that everyone should at least have 10 streams of income. So element 10 is another program that I have in relation to doing that. Now, if you have where you are stuck and you're trying to find out some information, of course, you can maybe even do a survey to get that information and just poll a few people. Well, we have a collective where you can put your survey on our site, and it's called statscollective.com. www.statscollective.com. There's a number of surveys there now. We're going to be putting a lot more on there that are going to be based on questions from our delegates. And you can too. And then you can be a part of the collective, where we can then give you the information out of it and have where you now have another data point. Yes, there's a lot already on Google, all over the internet about a lot of things, but some things might not be information that really relates to your particular niche. So Stats Collective is something that can help you with that. There's a lot of other things that we're going to be doing this year, and a lot of other great announcements I have about Life Innovation Global, as well as announcements about myself and how God is moving in my life. But until it's time for that, I'm just going to just hold a few of those things back for right now, but really appreciate you being on. I'm going to play the commercial one more time so that you can give honor to our delegates. I would like to thank Alarni for being on. I would like to thank the beautiful Donna, who has a special place in Don's heart because that is his daughter's name. And I would like to thank Keandra for taking the time out to be a part of these opening ceremonies. And for the rest of the delegates, I look forward to seeing you in another week for our session. And remember, no matter what happens in life, continue to use your mind. Continue to strive towards doing what excites you. Yes, we have to do what we need to do to make money, to pay our bills, and to have a livelihood. But if your burning desire is strong enough, you're going to do whatever it takes to have where that's what you can do ongoing each and every day. Let's live our life in a way that excites us to get up. Let's live our life in a way that we can't wait to go out and serve. Let's live our life that we can't wait to go out and give kindness and have a give back portion of what we do each and every day. And if it's not every day, every week or every month, let's live our lives out loud. And I hope that at some point you want to live your life as being a part of one of the branches, if not more, of Life Innovation Global. Thank you. My name is Krystylle Richardson, and I am the founder of Life Innovation. I just want to give a shout out to our first 3 main international delegate ambassadors. They have aligned a number of people under them in order to be a continent or country ambassador. You at least need to have 10 people under you that want to move forward in this journey. There's another young lady that has more than that. And so we are really, really looking forward to working with her as well. And so whether it is Miss Janine, we welcome you. If it is Emmanuel, we welcome you. Also, Letitia, we welcome you. And Sir Barrington, really appreciate you all being a part of the groundbreaking activities that we will be doing to make a big difference in the world. We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. And to all of our national delegates, once again, we thank you as well. And just another shout out and thank you and honor to King Dr. Clyde Rivers for helping to unleash, which way is it? To unleash innovation inside me that I thought was already there, but on a larger scale. He was on last night and on fire related to us just walking in it. So whatever it is that God has for you, whatever you have in your mind that you need to be doing this year, you need to walk in it. Greatness is inside of you and the world needs to see it. That spark is something that can light a fire in the world of greatness everywhere. If we just pay attention to the spark and fuel it with our ideas, fuel it with surrounding ourselves with the right people, fuel it with doing our own research and own study, do it with using the word do, using the word do. So what are you doing to pour into yourself? What are you doing to be innovative? What are you doing to be creative? And what are you doing to monetize that? What are you doing to have impact in the world? We all have it inside of us. And so if you would like to work with us, like I said, as part of Life Innovation Global, or be a student, be an ambassador, be a volunteer, you just let me know. And you can find my information at KrystylleRichardson.com, as well as at lifeinnovationglobal.com. Thank you. Appreciate you. God bless you all. And remember, it is our choice to think, disrupt, and lead. Once we do that, we can dominate, and the possibilities are endless. God bless you, and you have an awesome, 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 blessed day.